Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is Sunday, January 9th, 2022. This video is more like a work of science fiction. Give you a disclaimer here. I'm in no way a medical doctor, and I'm not giving out medical advice just to let anyone know. I'm just merely presenting a theory here which can be disproven. So just to get right to it, that's my disclaimer for the show, because I might be able to get a strike if I'm not careful. I got a strike recently, and so anyway, the algorithm's listening to me, so I will get moving here. This is part 3 of my fungi series, and I'll have other parts of it afterwards after I discover more. Let me first find where the files are at, so this way you can listen, because I don't feel like talking about the rest of it. I feel like I'll let what I recorded do the talking here. Okay, so here we go. Okay, I have to add to the video that there's multiple ways. I mean, there's two really effective ways to make something live forever. One of which is, mycelium. My mistake. There's 2 ways to make something live forever that are very effective. They're much more effective than, let's say, altering the DNA of a given individual. In order to make something that lives forever, that is connected to one hive mind, that is an interconnected global network, let's say, that is one kingdom, would be to have mycelium connected. And if you look at this, mycelium can go below ground. It has to go into things that are cold-blooded even. This is also possibly why they're getting the precursor done of making people borderline dead, let's say, because the blood is mixtured with hydrogel of crab from hemocyanin blue-blooded crabs. So it's a cold-blooded transition in which people will die in the process of trying to create the mark of the beast. So it's the cold is what you need. Cold to make mycelium grow. Okay, and mycelium can be global, and it can get anywhere, because mycelium technically goes below ground in dead things. It goes into dead things. It goes above ground with the flowers, aka the mushrooms, and it goes even through the air with the spores and morgellons. So we have that. We also have programmable bacteria is also effective in making one hive mind as well. Okay, and so the other thing to add to the video is Westworld has a milky white substance. It's not stringy, but it's a milky white substance, and some people think that has to do with the milk of human sacrifice, which it does. But the other thing that it could have to do with is that it could be a form of mycelium. It's a goopy form of mycelium. Mycelium can be pussy and goopy at times, but mostly mycelium is solid, but some mycelium is goopy. On a rare basis, you can find goopy, mostly slime that amoeba lives in is goopy. So maybe there's not too much fungus that's goopy, but I can probably find fungus that's goopy. I just have to figure it out. Mold, let's say, is quasi-goopy. So that's one way of looking at it, because Westworld has a goopy white substance. That probably instead has to do with the milk of human sacrifice, but also could be mycelium. So I will add that to a later video. Body, only if the human body is, cold-blooded. It's also going to lead to innovation in order to get people to cleave to it. They need to basically alter the structure of the body, basically. And it's going to lead to basically inventions happening, such as this mycelium that will be able to inhabit the human body only if the human body is, cold-blooded. It's also going to lead to innovation in DNA too as well, but it's probably going to lead to a bigger, badder innovation of programmable mycelium, most likely, and/or programmable bacteria. Bacteria also eats at things that are dead too as well. So this is one way of bringing this about. The blood clots, so the blood stops functioning as it normally would. whatchamacallit, I mean, it's more than just trying to injure people and put them to death. It's trying to basically see how well that they can cleave a blue-blooded substance into a human being. So this way they can see how well afterwards how well a human being can then accept mycelium in its blood. Because otherwise mycelium will not cleave to the human body, because the human body cannot have too much fungus in it because it's too warm. It will fight off the fungus. Our organelles also in mitochondria of cells also fight off fungus as well.
Okay, so that's a brief synopsis of work that I created that has to do with the future of where we could be headed potentially. But the other thing to contribute that I might add is something very important, is that the one thing that the video that my recordings there did not discuss, is that I have a correction to make, is that the hydrogel is from a horseshoe crab. It's from in a particular species. A horseshoe crab is more like an arachnid species, it's not a crustacean really, actually. It's an arachnid, but it lives in the ocean, of course. And so anyway, and the hydrogel from that thing is used to heal the horseshoe crab, but it doesn't cleave well to a human being. So anyway, so the other thing to consider is that it's not that they're trying to, let's say, make a human they're not trying all at once, of course. They do things gradually. Things are done gradually with the plan of having the anaconda squeeze around the human population. You have an anaconda, it's like the anaconda plan for the American South. You have it gradually squeeze the human population to where the human population, it's also like a boiling frog concept. Like, you turn the water up just enough and the frog doesn't know it's being boiled type thing. You can turn up to being warm, this frog will swim in it. And then you turn up, all of a sudden the frog doesn't know that it's being boiled and it won't hop out of the thing until it's too late. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on with the human population here. And so the other thing is that they're taking, it's not that they're trying to, let's say, create they might not, like I said, they're not all at once trying to make a human entirely filled with fungus and have them take the mark of the beast that way. One thing to do is that they can, with what they're doing, they can basically at first make a human have partially cleaved to something that clots their blood, and that basically makes them have some cold blood spots in their body to where they're ridiculously unhealthy, let's say. And then that leads to, let's say, another, treatment, we'll say, that, and I think everyone knows what I mean by the word treatment. They have it lead to another treatment that could potentially be a fungus that's used to, let's say, pop the brain, so that's used to basically explode someone's head. For example, okay, so I saw this in this TV show called Legion. It's in season 2. It's towards the end of season 2, in which they discuss the satanic figure, and it discusses an ant going so high. An ant that gets this fungus disease. It goes very high, and then it basically pops its head pops from this fungus. So what that's referencing is that the ant's going high. It's trying to basically live forever on Earth, basically, and so because it's referencing, like, a high point. It's taking like the stairway to earthly heaven in Freemasonry, the third pillar with the stairway on it. It's taking it's basically walking the stairway of heaven, the stairway to heaven, basically, and that's kind of what it could be doing there. And then the ant dies in the process, and so that's the thing, is that the mark of the beast doesn't cleave too well to human beings, but that just could be a way to put people to death. It's that's one way of doing it. If the initial treatments didn't get you, then let's say the later treatment definitely would, because it would have more cold-blooded aspects to cleave to in your body, because you can't get that to cleave to a human being unless they're either dead or their blood is completely, totally altered, and they stop having hemoglobin blood, because hemoglobin blood does not work well with fungus at all. Anyway, the fungus dies off in it. And so the other thing I would like to add, that I don't know if this will get, actually never mind, this will, I will add this other aspect too, is that how I know that that's a progression of events, or how I think it's a progression of events, is because the TV show Legion told me in the earlier episodes we see people getting blasted through walls. Okay, now what that has to do with is it has to do with blasting something through the cell membrane wall of a person, which is what's happening right now with what's going on with the whole let's say with the whole treatment options, the quote-unquote treatment options, let's say, for what is a essentially a global thing. It's a global horseman's plague, basically, of Revelation, basically. Okay, only it's a fake plague, as everyone knows. And so anyway, she said, you blasted me through a wall in the episode 1 also of Legion, and they're also talking about the reason why. This is something that occurred a long time ago in pre-Christ, before Christ was even around, is that you have crying for Tammuz, and Tammuz Tammuz is kind of like Tammuz is a Sumerian god, and so you have this thing where someone gets stuck in a wall, and you have this wailing and crying for Tammuz that occurs, and you have this also in various aspects of some TV shows here and there. And you also have people lately, as Enter the Stars pointed out, getting literally stuck inside of walls. And this is showing you what they're trying to show you, is that basically it's like they're crying for Tammuz. Tammuz is kind of like stealing Christ's glory a bit. And basically the getting stuck and blasted through a wall is referencing what's getting blasted through a cell membrane wall of a human body. And that's what the TV show is showing. And so that's why there's a progression of events in this TV show, where in later episodes it shows you what could potentially happen if they can get, if they can successfully, cleave fungi to a human being. That's how it would be done. So anyway, I'm going to cut this video off. If you want to know more about Tammuz, you can read on Wikipedia even, or you can even take a look at Enter the Stars' channel, which he has a great archive of videos about Tammuz. So anyway, and Tammuz's symbol is a cuckoo bird. So anyway, and I'll have another video out on cuckoo birds at some point, and a song that's actually a really good song. So anyway, I will cut this video off, and I hope you all have a great day.